All right, so we are going to begin by setting goals and expectations for discussion.
One of our goals can be using your agree and disagree symbols. If you see someone agreeing with you, you can call on them. If you see someone disagreeing with you, you can call on them. An expectation you could have should be 85% of the sharing.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I said that because if we want to try to figure out the overall structure of the text, we're going to need everybody's thoughts.
So we're in agreement that this is a more difficult standard. So in order for us to meet that level 5, where we need to analyze why the author chose to give us a specific text structure throughout the entire text, we've got to all work together. Okay?
Another one of our goals should be paragraph and page number. So what I'm currently saying is we should have text evidence, and why do you think that? Because someone might not know what you're talking about. So if you say like found this on page 346, paragraph 1, then they'll know where you got that answer. In addition to what Colin said, one of our goals should be it should also be an expectation. It's our standard. Level 4 explains the overall structure of events, ideas, concepts, or information in a text or part of a text, referring to specific textual evidence.
So I can kind of see that goal matching with your text evidence goal, because we know for a level 4 for RI 2.5, you've got to provide what? Specific text evidence. So level 4 explains overall text structure.
A goal that I think that we should have, since we're trying to meet like a level 4 and a level 5, is analyze the overall structure of the text and like why they read the text that
So what I'm hearing Keelan say is we want to analyze the structure. By us analyzing, we're going to be able to determine why the author chose that specific text structure. Maya? I need you to speak up.
I think one of our expectations should be activism. Maya, why do you think one of our expectations should be activism to maximize our discussion?
All right, so we have our goals. We're going to set the timer for 5 minutes, and we're going to start part 1 of discussion.
I think the text structure is cause and effect, because on page 347, it said on paragraph 3, it says the phase is called a first quarter moon. That's the effect, and the cause is because the moon is now a one quarter, or 25% of the way through the full cycle. I disagree with Uriel. I think is like a sequence. I disagree with Toby because it's saying first because it's like calling it the first quarter moon. It's like a moon phase that has the word first in it. It's not like a sequence word. And I also disagree with him because on page 347, paragraph 1, there's a cause and effect signal word. It says that in the first phase of the moon, called the moon, the giant ball of rock is not visible on Earth at all. That is because the moon is in between the sun and Earth.
I agree with Keelan, and on page 346 in the caption, it says the moon lights come from the sun. It looks different to us on different days because the moon and Earth are always moving.
But I disagree with and it says on page 347, it's giving you like a time like close to a week, and that's like sequence.
I disagree with Toby because in my pod, it was a signal word because. So I think it's cause and effect. I got that from page 347, paragraph 3.
Ariel, what signal word for cause and effect are you referring to on paragraph 3?
Elliott, I saw you had an example. Did you want to share yours?
Yes. I think it's cause and effect because the moon goes between the sun and the earth, and it makes a solar eclipse.
I disagree with myself, and now I think it's cause and effect. And so with that makes me think that the overall answer is cause and effect because 3 versus 10 that is cause and effect, and 4 versus text for cause and effect, and only one part of the text is sequence. So I think the overall text is cause and effect.
Are you following along with that? Our timer's about to go off, so I'm gonna ask you that when you are doing your halftime break, if we have time before halftime, you can share what you were gonna say. But while you are meeting with your discussion leader, really talking about how you can push your thinking and how you can move yourself from that level 4, which you were able to explain the overall text structure, you were able to provide specific text evidence, but now we're gonna move into the analyzing piece. So part 2 is gonna be focused on, we're analyzing the text structure. Why did the author choose cause and effect? What was the purpose of that? And how does that help you better understand the text? So you second what I was saying? You agree? Okay, so you're gonna have a 2-minute halftime break. So go ahead and turn with your coach.
Stating text evidence, and right now your speaking level is level 4, which is very nice. So something to push your thinking would be ask a question, and that one would should be why did the author choose cause and effect? And I also have an answer about why dropped people. I think it was okay. I think you did really I think you did good on the discussion. So how do you think you can push your things in the head? I don't know or how do you think I did better this way than yes, I'd agree with that. You did way better.
looking for the cause that I wasn't like done finishing.
Why did the option cause an effect?
We see that three people haven't spoken yet, so you need a prompt.
And why would, yeah, I agree with you. And why
They could add on to a discussion.
And you need to say it first. You need to like say, why did the author choose cause and effect? Alright.
So then,
But other than that, that's a great discussion.
I think the author put the text structure cause and effect because maybe he thought that text structure can explain more about the moon and its phases.
I agree with Ariel, and I think the author uses this text cause and effect to make us more knowledgeable about why the moon changes shape because the title is why does the moon change shape, and cause and effect is like the cause is why something happens and the effect is what happens. So maybe the cause is like because this happens the moon changes shape.
really looking at our discussion so far, since our goal was to really actively listen and 85% participation, even if we feel we've met that 85%, we want to involve everyone in this discussion, so thinking about how you can get others involved in the discussion.
I have a question for Rowan's.
Okay?
Why do they call it a quarter?
So if we are saying we're still gathering our thoughts, but we're kind of confused with what the question is, we can always ask. I need more clarification on that question.
I found this question on page 347, paragraph 3.
Did you want to answer that question, or you have a different thought?
So I want to answer the question.
We answered Toby's question. I think it's called a quarter moon because only half of the moon is shown.
I disagree with Skirt because in the text, page 327, paragraph 3,
It says this phase is called the first quarter moon because the moon is now 1/4 or 25% of the way through its full cycle.
I disagree with Keaton because it says here the sun lights up about half of the the newest side of the moon.
When it says the sun lights up half of the new side of the moon, that's like a quarter of the moon or half.
and it says about half.
Really thinking about your questions. Think about how that's going to help us meet our goal. If these questions are not going to help us meet our goal of identifying the overall structure and further analyzing that text structure, then we need to ask questions that are going to gear us in that direction.
Colin, have you gathered your thoughts yet?
Can we go back to Colin though? Because what was Colin's original question? Do you remember what they asked you originally or no? Okay, so that would be something that you would need to say, actually, I need that question repeated. Because if you're still saying I'm gathering my thoughts, that means we think you're going back in the text. But if you don't know what you're searching for, or if you don't know what you're adding onto discussion, it's difficult for you. Yes? So let's think about analyzing piece. So our friends are saying that the text structure was used to explain more about the moon and the phases. The text structure was used to give us more knowledge about why the moon changes shape. Would you agree or disagree with that? Do you have something to add to that thinking? Do you think the author gave us cause and effect examples so that way we can learn more about the moon and the phases? I need more than a nod. I need more than an agree symbol. Those of you who haven't shared as well, you need to add on. So I really haven't heard from Colin. I really haven't heard much from Leilani's. Discussion leaders, think about how we can engage our friends in this discussion. What are some other questions that we can ask them to get them involved?
Colin, I have a question. How does the picture on page 347 help you understand the paragraphs?
Say that one more time. How does the picture
On page 347 help you understand the paragraphs?
help you understand the paragraphs or help you understand?
The overall structure.
So we're a team, we gotta work through it. So since we're hearing that Colin's really not responding to that, now let's move into, all right, what do you notice about the picture? What do you wonder about the picture? That's gonna help us answer the question. So from Colin's I notice, I wonder statements, we can move into other friends answering this question. What do you notice about that picture?
I know that half of the moon is not made up.
Do we agree? Okay, in addition,
In addition to what Colin said, it helps me understand the text better because it says this phase is called the first quarter moon because it shows now 1/4 of 25% and it shows how it looks like. The one is I wanna put in the regulation. Read the caption, like sort of the caption to the picture and try to connect that to the page 347.
so you feel that
I think we definitely met our goal, our expectation of 85% of discussion leaders speaking because 100% spoke.
I think we should do more prompting because some people wouldn't get a chance to speak.
I would even say that I think the 85% participation was met, but your teacher was doing a lot of prompting.
Yes.
So my challenge for you is the next time we write this expectation, yes, we want to do 85% participation with prompting only from discussion leaders. So then thinking about your active listening, maximizing discussion time. See Maya disagreeing. Why?
I kind of disagree with the because sometimes, like, when Toby was asking a question for the mommies, someone else shared when it was her turn to.
I agree with Maya, and I also think
So we were observing just some disrespectful behavior. Also, let's think about our wait time between answering.
There's a lot of long pauses.
Did you want to add on to that, Addison?
There's a lot of long pauses, and like in those long pauses, I can like see a lot of people looking in their head.
So I would agree with you, Addison, in the sense that when there were those long pauses, we were kind of just staring at each other. That's not maximizing your discussion time. So tomorrow we're going to have to move that into the goal category because that wasn't an expectation today.
I agree with Addison and I would like to add on.
Okay.
I don't really think we know agree or disagree with some things because like I barely saw anyone do it.
Okay. So we need to continue this as a goal tomorrow as well?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the paragraph and page number providing text evidence?
I think we need a little work on it.
Okay, Christian, what were you going to say to add on in addition to what James said?
In addition to what James said, I'd agree that we'd have to work on it because
Do you have a suggestion for us? So if we wanted to work on providing text evidence, what could we do if we were giving an answer?
we could provide real text evidence.
But give us an example. So if I said, all right, this is my answer, but I didn't provide text evidence, how should I say that answer?
My answer is from.
From what?
I got this answer from paragraph 1.
You should list where you got your answer from in the paragraph.
Absolutely. We definitely want to make sure we're listing that. And I think part of the reason why some of our maximizing discussion time took a little bit of a backtrack today was because we were struggling to provide that text evidence. I would say part 1, we were spot on with text evidence. Part 2, it was a little more difficult to get that text evidence out of us. Okay? Level 4 explains the overall text structure. Absolutely. I think we definitely were able to do that. Analyze the overall structure.
I think we did not analyze the overall structure really because like we didn't really have that much strong like analyzing like not like reasons about why the author chose it. I feel like it's just like we need to tell more reasons about why the author chose cause and effect.
So what I'm hearing Ryan say is even though this was a analyzation and we did a very good job analyzing, we didn't analyze the entire text. I feel like our answers, the reason why the author wrote this, were based on the pages that you read today instead of flipping back to the beginning pages and even the middle. That's going to make your response stronger.
And also, I was thinking that you like when for example Toby was prompting Colin and Leilani's, maybe he could have like although I'm not his coach, maybe he could have asked the question about like something related to analyzing the overall structure.
Okay, so we want to take that into account because tomorrow we are going to be working with a different text. So I think that's a great suggestion, Ryan, whereas if when you were prompting them, which you did a really good job giving them questions, Toby, but maybe directing them to, all right, so we analyzed the text structure from these specific pages. Can you help us analyze the text structure or why the author wrote